All right, so today we're going to talk about a blog by a guy named Kevin Schneiders. He's with EDSI Solutions that we ran across. And it's about talking about millennials. So I'm here with, Julie, Jomel, and Aleck, and who may or may not appreciate being called millennial. And we're going to tackle what it said on the blog. So all these things that we typically hear about millennials, which I'm sure you've heard that they're lazy, that they want to be accommodated more, they want special treatment and all that stuff. So we're going to tackle the top 3 millennial stereotype, and we're going to hear what they have to say about it. Okay, so the first one, stereotype number 1 is that they need to know why.
I think for me personally, I would say it's true. It's not really because I don't want to believe in things or whatever. It's really because I feel like we were raised in a generation or a time where information is so accessible to us that we can find out the reasons why. And so when we don't know why, it's a little bit weirder.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes. What about you guys?
I definitely agree with Julie, especially with YouTube and TikTok being out. A lot of people say different things on the same subject, and so for me personally, I love to fact check.
That's good point. Good point. Don't just believe whatever you read or hear or watch on the internet. You have to make sure that it's, you have to check the source, right? Well, I mean, that in comparison to the Gen Xers and the baby boomers, we were told what to do, and we just basically did it. I mean, that's the difference between that generation and your generation. I mean, I grew up in the Philippines, and we were told, when we were told something, we didn't get to ask why, because in my generation at that time, it was considered disrespectful, right? To ask why. You just did it. No questions to ask. So that was stereotype number 1. And the number 2 stereotype, top number 2, is that they want a trophy for everything.
I would 100% disagree with that one. But then I also think it just comes down to how you are raised. Mm-hmm. So participation trophies is why? That goes back to the first one. Why are you going to get a participation trophy?
Yeah. Right?
It's like you're teaching someone they don't have to try so hard to succeed.
Yeah, well, in this article, he also explains, really, it wasn't the millennials that wanted that. The baby boomers and the Gen Xers, again, they were the ones who started that participation trophy. And it actually works to your advantage. And that article says that it actually gives you motivation. It pushes you more. They said, put a millennial. No. To get the trophy. It motivates you to do better.
If everyone gets a trophy?
No, yeah. That it's actually
so if
the opposite.
There's winners.
Yes, okay. If there's winners,
that I agree with.
Motivates you to compete better.
I believe competition helps people strive to be better. Because if everybody was winning, no one would try to be better, because you don't have to. There's no reason why.
Exactly. Exactly. So it wasn't about it wasn't the millennials who started that. It's actually the generations before you.
So it's their fault.
you're like the generation in focus right now, I guess, so that you get blamed for a lot of stuff. Now the number 3 stereotype is that millennials want too much accommodation and flexibility.
That's right.
Especially, and this article says, especially when it comes to work schedules. And you mentioned earlier, there's so much, you're connected to, to technology. Mm-hmm. So of course, a lot of, and especially right now, Jomel, you work from home, right? Oh, yeah. You're attracted to being able to work remote. Mm-hmm. You too, you're working remote part-time. So yeah.
I feel like for that though, it's not necessarily that we expect accommodation. I think because we've had all that access to information, a lot of people in our generation, not necessarily the three of us, but a lot of people in our generation have learned how to like beat systems. And because they know they can beat a system, they want to find ways to continue doing that wherever they go. You
Right.
know? So I think that has kind of conditioned a lot of people in our generation to ask for more accommodations just because they can. And then, you know, when they don't get the accommodation, they find a way to get it anyway by saying
to get it somewhere. Exactly.
discrimination or whatever they want to say. Not saying that we're like that, but
or just find another place that will provide that.
Different avenues to get what they want, you know.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of Julie, I think in our generation, the millennials, convenience is like such a big thing for us, or for me anyway. I like if it's convenient, why not? You know.
And I think
That's
that
true.
like it goes back again to having information available to you. Like you find ways to be more efficient. I think that's what it is. You know, like so flexibility kind of goes along with that, right? I mean, if you do it this way, then you know you can be more efficient. Like
That's true.
work smarter, not harder, right?
And you know, I think part of why our generation has like these stereotypes about us is because we really were raised differently. Like you said, you were told this is how you do things, that's just how you do it. But when the way we're raised is everything is possible. If you think it can be better, it can. Go find the way, you know.
Right.
And that's why we ask, how do we make this better? Why isn't it better? Can we make it better? How do you make it better? It always results in the same circle, and we end up in that cycle of trying to find better, more efficient ways. And to start that, we have to ask why. And we have to find ways to get accommodated, whatever we want.
Exactly.
So it all ties in. So even though I don't think you can blanket the stereotypes over all of us, I think maybe who knows, maybe we are all like that, just in different degrees.
And that's basically the blog is, you know, it's finding ways to you know, to approach those stereotypes about your age group, you know, and how to handle it better. And there's really nothing wrong, like the blog says, there's really nothing wrong with asking why, you know, if you just explain it. And that goes with anybody, really. Like if you just explain the why, give the reason why, and then you know, people are going to be more, not just your generation, but everybody, people are going to be more, you know, have more understanding, more accepting, you know, than they understand, hopefully. But of course, not everybody will have the same.
That's true. And, you know, we're in an age of awareness. Everybody's
Yeah.
fighting for some type of awareness. And awareness is literally the answers to why. Why do we
Right.
care about this and that? That's all about awareness.
Exactly. And actually, you know, both being flexible, you know, like with the work schedule, it's beneficial to both employers and the employees.
Yeah, I think so. For me, working from home, just being able to wake up like 5 minutes before I start, and then you know,
Not
I
that
get
he
more
does.
sleep.
Come on, Jomel. We know you just roll out of bed and log on to your work computer.
I mean, I get more sleep, and
Yes.
then thus having more energy, in turn makes me more productive.
And you don't have to deal with like traffic, getting in your car. So yes, I mean those are all incentives for flexibility. Now I know those are the top three. Now there's also another thing that I hear about millennials is that you guys are much better with budgeting, with your finances than your parents. Is that true with any of you?
Alec, I'm going to let you take this one away.
Oh, that depends. I mean, growing up, I didn't have, my parents taught me that if I wanted something, I had to save for it. And so mostly everything that I've gotten was because I saved my allowance, or I went and made my own money and saved up for whatever I was trying to get. So I guess it does kind of teach you to be, I guess it just goes down to how you were raised again.
Yes.
That's basically all it is. And I don't know if we're more frugal, because I know some of my friends, they are like, oh, I have money, I can just, I can spend it.
Eat out all the time.
Yeah,
So, yeah. What about you, Jomel?
I think in terms of to bring back the point that we have more information, I think for me, I'm more into researching on like how to invest or how to even invest better compared to my parents, just because back then they really had books and you can't really get the books you need if they're not there compared to now where you can just Google what to invest or even how to invest.
That's true, because if we need information, we just bust out our phone and Google something. Back then, I don't know what it was like because I'm not from that generation, but I imagine you'd have to go to like the library or something, look for all the books, and then find the information. So I think it all goes back to us just having more access to information. So I wouldn't know if we're better at it or not. Like
It's just that we have the information
Yeah,
that
the
needs
information.
to access it.
thanks to your generation for giving it to us.
And also like how you were raised, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if your parents taught you to, to save and to be good with your money, then that's how you would be, I would think, right? I mean, maybe not, because not everybody listens to their parents.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like, a lot of people in our generation grew up with that you only live once mentality. And so that goes to what you were saying. Some people just go blow their money because they're like, I got money. So I think it does have to do with how you're raised, but it also has to do with who you're surrounded by, I feel like. And so it really takes a village,
Yes,
So-
yes. Now, one last thing, do you have any examples of when you were told you're such a millennial, right?
For for me, so in my living situation currently, we are actually supposed to move out in the near future, and so we have a lot of things, me and my dad, because it's just us two that live together. And so for me, I want to hire some movers because we have a lot of things, and some of the things we have are pretty heavy. And so my dad, he's like, no, we can just do it ourselves. And for me, I'm like, no, why? We can get hurt. And then why not hire someone and I don't want them to get hurt, but it's better them than us. And then he says to me, you're such a millennial.
There you go. Like we hear that, right? You hear that praise, and that's true. See, that's being like flexible, right? Not that you're just wanting to be accommodated, but because there's an easier way.
Easier way to do it.
Yeah, there's an easier way to do it. So it's not. I don't think it has anything to do about being lazy. It's just there's a better way that you guys know to do things. So
Because we have the money to spend it.
must be nice. Must be nice.
Just hire some movers. Here you go.
Well, I believe that's all the time we have. But before we go,
Yes, before we go, we're going to go around and say something that we're all grateful for. And since you're on that side, Jomel, I'm going to let you start.
I'm thankful for movers. So thankful for their experience and their equipment that they have to lift heavy things.
It's always good. Today, I am grateful for having access to things that make life more convenient to us, like mobile ordering your coffee, which I am going to do right after this.
Well, today I'm grateful for the beautiful weather that we had because we had some time to go out actually to the park, and spend some time together with family and friends. And it was a perfect day that we had today. So I'm grateful for that.
I am grateful for afternoon naps.
You're such a
Not because I'm lazy. But everyone needs an afternoon nap.
That is true. Everyone does indeed need an afternoon nap.
Yes. Well, okay. So before we let you go, make sure that you follow us on our eaglenews.net.
And also follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And make sure you tell us anything you'd like to share with us, whether it's something you'd like us to talk about or even shout outs you'd want to share. And we'll make sure to give those shout outs out next time.
Until then, please join us at our next episode of Take a Seat.